Hey fellow babies, welcome back to Pachter Factor on SIFTD.net. I am Michael Pachter, your host at Michael Pachter on Twitter. You must be following me by now, but if you're not, please do. If you are watching real time on Patreon as a patron, we appreciate it. Thank you for your support. If you are watching on YouTube as a subscriber, thank you. Those two things cost money. So if you don't have any money, but you have an Amazon Prime account or your parents have an Amazon Prime account, open up a Twitch Prime account, you probably already have one, and link it to your Amazon Prime account. You get all sorts of cool stuff anyway, but we get money. So please link those two accounts, and the instructions are in the show description, and then we will get paid, and we'll give you early access. So you'll get this the same time as the paying customers, because we don't really care. We're mercenary. However Shane gets paid is good for me. I'm happy. Question today from SIFTD from Curtis O'Neill. Supply chain issues are limiting PlayStation 5 and Xbox Series X availability. Would publishers ever delay games built solely for next gen until their install bases are bigger? Well, we saw that with GTA Remastered, although, yeah, that's next gen only. I don't know if that's why they did it. More likely, you just won't see very many games built exclusively for next gen until the install base is bigger. Typically the dedicated next gen game doesn't happen for 2 years, and the only ones you get are the first party titles or the rando paid for, like Ubisoft will put something out exclusive. But the big games, the Call of Duties and the FIFA Ultimate Team or FIFA, come out on old and next gen consoles. So again, I think part of the thinking of Rockstar with the GTA 5 remastered delay is it doesn't really matter. The install base will be bigger and people are going to buy it anyway. And holiday didn't matter. But I don't think most publishers are going to delay anything. They'll figure the next gen will sell in time. And I actually don't know that many exclusives. Like I said, other than the first party, there's one or two a year. Like Cyberpunk was. I mean, people can't afford to do that. You're not going to build a game just for PS5 or Xbox Series X. Small guys making a game, they're doing it because they're getting paid to make a game exclusive to next gen. But the major publishers are not doing that. I mean, you're just not seeing it. So Activision, EA, Take-Two, and Ubi, I have not heard of anything that's exclusive other than Grand Theft Auto Remastered. I don't think anybody's gone exclusive. And supply issues, Sony did say that they'd sold a record number of PS5s, more than they'd sold of PS 1, 2, 3, or 4 at this point in the life cycle. So the install base isn't that small on a relative basis. Agreed that it's smaller than it would have been had supply issues not gotten in the way. But PS4 is priced right, and it's for what you get. I mean, there's really a lot to it. But I don't think anybody cares about these indie titles that are getting announced. Like, if it's not coming from one of the big Western publishers, it just doesn't matter. So a question today from Patreon from Cody C. Microsoft has made efforts to be successful in Japan in the past to no avail. Game Pass has significantly affected the way that I buy and play games. Do you think a combination of Game Pass and small form factor of the Series S can make a dent in Japan this time around? Does Japan even matter anymore? I think that the lack of success in Japan is because the Japanese, to paraphrase something Bobby Kotick told me, Bobby told me he went to a game retailer in probably 2002 or 3. And he said that he went into the retailer and there were all these Japanese games all over the walls, and he asked where the section was of the Activision games, and they walked him over and there's a little sign and an arrow pointing down. There were the Activision games. And he said, "What's the sign say?" And the proprietor said, "Western dog." So Bobby was just explaining why they don't have much success in Japan. And, this is back when they had Tony Hawk and they had Spider-Man. So, I mean, they had okay games. But I think the Japanese just like Japanese games. And I don't think it's racist. I think games are culturally a better fit for them. And I'm sure there are games that thrive in Japan, but again, not that many Western games that thrive in Japan. Microsoft's been trying to crack it forever. But I think your conclusion is wrong. I don't think that they need the hardware to sell there. I think Game Pass can get games sold there if you use Game Pass on any device. So if you use Game Pass on any screen and you use the cloud, then yes, absolutely, I think they can sell software there. They'll sell it through Game Pass, but I think they can do it. The reason Japan makes a difference is it's still a top, global 6 or 7 economy. I mean, it's giant, so it's the U.S. and China, and then I think Japan is still third. I think they're ahead of everybody else. So you want to be in a market that has giant purchasing power, period. It's a large, wealthy market with a lot of people who play games. And so you want to be there, you just got to get the games that they care about. And Microsoft's efforts have been by creating a bunch of, Japanese style games for the Xbox, and I think they will continue to do that. So it matters because everybody wants to be there because the Japanese kind of invented video games, and with Sony and Nintendo, or Nintendo first and then Sony, and I think Microsoft will keep trying that and have limited success. So you got to you've got to give them games that they want to play. So should Microsoft keep trying, or should somebody else keep trying? Gamers play games. The US market is dominant mobile, and everybody sucks at mobile. Activision's okay at it, and EA bought a bunch of stuff to get better at it, but Take-Two, Ubisoft, Nintendo are terrible at mobile in the US, just terrible. So, but that's where the market is. So everybody should chase the market, and they should give the market the content that it wants. And Japanese mobile market is gigantic. I think Japanese free-to-play market, League of Legends type stuff is probably pretty big. Again, we aren't able to track that, but I'm sure it's pretty big. So yes, Japan matters. And again, I was talking to Activision about Call of Duty Mobile, and I said, what was the most surprising thing to you guys about the Call of Duty Mobile launch? And without any hesitation, they said, India. They said, we had an internal debate about whether even to offer the game in India on mobile and localize it, because there were people internally who thought we'll never make any money there, so why localize it? Why come up with language and all that? And India is I think they said their number 3 market, something like that. So it's giant, it's become a big market for them, and they just didn't expect it. And now they're like, India's part of their launch of every mobile game, which is smart. Because guess what? There's 1 billion people in India, and 700 million of them have phones. And some meaningful percentage of them have disposable income. So why not let them spend it on Call of Duty? So yeah, I think Japan's the same way. Lots of people with access to lots of cash. Try to get some of it from them. Thanks for joining us on Pachter Factor on SIFTD.net, and especially if you are a Patreon patron and getting it real time, thank you for your contribution. If you are a YouTube subscriber, thank you. You're helping Shane, keep eating macaroni and cheese. And if you are neither of those, even if you are one of those, join your Amazon Prime account, link it to your Twitch Prime account, and Amazon will pay us and charge you nothing. So since it costs you nothing except reading the instructions below and clicking on the link, it's pretty easy. Do it, please. We get paid. And if you don't have Amazon Prime, which is your only excuse, and you don't have any money, which is your only excuse, then you're watching it for free on YouTube a week late. Follow me on Twitter at Michael Pachter. See you next time.